Take a look at this. This is a live look, New York City, where portions of a crane have collapsed from high winds from Hurricane Sandy. This crane is at West 57th Street in Midtown Manhattan between Central Park and Times Square. Hurricane Sandy is barreling toward the East Coast, shutting down cities in several states. The enormous storm has sustained winds of 90 miles an hour. The gusts are even higher. Susan McGinnis has more from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, with the latest.
Well, with this monster storm now just hours from landfall, residents of coastal towns like this one are bracing for the worst and preparing for a rough week ahead. Pieces of the Atlantic City boardwalk ended up in the streets as Hurricane Sandy moves closer. Roads are flooded and it is only expected to get worse. Hundreds of thousands of people along the East Coast have evacuated, but others refuse to leave.
I'm part of Atlantic City. I'm like the fish in the ocean. I gotta stay here.
The National Hurricane Center says the massive storm has turned to the left and is expected to make landfall near Delaware Bay and New Jersey.
The most important message that I have for the public right now is please listen to what your state and local officials are saying. When they tell you to evacuate, you need to evacuate.
Hurricane-force winds extend 175 miles from the center, and the storm is combining with two other weather systems to create a superstorm affecting around 50 million people.
You could be 200-300 miles away from the center during this event and still get some very, very bad weather, dangerous or even life-threatening conditions.
Here in Rehoboth Beach, the waves are already reaching over the boardwalk and are heading inland. Officials say the storm surge plus high winds could mean major damage up and down the Northeast.
I've been down here 30 years and I haven't seen this as bad as it is right now.
And even after the storm passes, extensive power outages are expected to last for days. And the governor of Delaware has issued what are called level 2 restrictions on driving, meaning only essential personnel are allowed on the roads. They want anyone still in town to either be at home or in shelters. In Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, Susan McGinnis, back to you.
Well, local PGE crews are on standby to head east if they need to help when the power goes out as that storm hits. Here's a live look from one of our pinpoint weather cameras. This is the boardwalk at Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. Meteorologist Matt Brode back again, and we just don't see storms like this, Matt.
We do not see these kind of hurricanes. Our ocean temperature is far too cold to sustain that. This is an epic storm system. Here's your live pinpoint weather net, and let's check it out right now. Look at those waves coming into Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. I mean, they are just pounding it, and that pinpoint weather net, that camera is literally shaking in the wind. Since midnight, already picked up over 2 inches of rain, and I think probably the biggest story of this is A, the size, and B, all the impacts it's going to have. I mean, we're talking heavy rains, extreme storm surge places like New York City, and then even heavy snows in the mountains. This will be affecting likely 50 million people. Blizzard warnings for much of Virginia, West Virginia, and look at all the coastal flood warnings we have from New England all the way down to the mid-Atlantic states, so this is a real deal. Last statement out of the National Hurricane Center in Miami put Sandy now Category 1 hurricane. You can see it's about 85 miles southeast of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Let's look at the path now as we look at it. Right now, located just offshore, but by Monday, that's tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, that's 5 o'clock our time. This is a Category 1 hurricane somewhere near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, maybe a little bit farther to the south in Delaware. And then by Tuesday, look at that, it curves around and it's in much of the mid-Atlantic states with heavy rains. We're talking snow and extreme storm surge. We'll be looking at this throughout much of the day and likely throughout much of the work week.
Incredible, Matt. Thank you for that update. Well, thousands of flights worldwide have been canceled due to Hurricane Sandy, including many to and from Portland. Our Chad Carter found some who were left to figure out what to do after the brakes were put on their flight.
Before the eye of Hurricane Sandy is expected to hit the East Coast, its effects are already reaching airports around the world, including PDX. A dozen flights have been canceled today due to Sandy. This morning, flights between Portland and New York, New Jersey, Boston, and Washington, D.C. were all canceled, with more planned for later this evening. As the storm continues to snarl travel across the country, staying on top of changing plans by the airlines will help you avoid long stays at the airport.
The online information, for example, has been really helpful so that people can check on their flights before they come to the airport so they don't have as many surprises as in the old days. And most travelers are pretty savvy and do check on their flights before they come in, so we tend not to see the super huge lines at the airport.
With the storm expected to slowly churn ashore, flight delays and cancellations are expected to continue at least through tomorrow. Airport and airline officials encourage travelers to check their flight status before they leave home, including looking at flypdx.com, which lists the latest information from all the airlines. Reporting for you, Chad Carter, KOIN Local 6.